basically is the fastest way, easiest way to empower your team to both understand and act on data and through the power of stories. Now, here the focus words are you need to act on data. Now, every one of you have some kind of a data with you, and from that data, initially in Microsoft Excel, you start to create some charts, some pivot tables, might be you do some analysis. Going forward to that, now we have some business intelligence tools in our organizations, something like Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, or any other application. Now, on that application, your data should act and tell the management that how the business should take the decisions by seeing the visualization. That the power of stories. And the power of stories concept is not new. It's an old something like in our childhood we used to understand stories rather than the words, and the images comes in our mind. So stories are very powerful. It's transform the message very quickly. Similarly, when you create dashboards and when you do some quick visualizations, the data speak itself by some good visualizations, and that's the power of stories in the dashboards. So the data storytelling is the new concept, is the new skill set and the advanced level, so that you should understand that how the data will act on it and how you can create a powerful visualizations for your dashboards. So one more good quote is creating effective data visualizations requires a learning a new language with a new grammar rules. So this is a kind of a new language. It's a new skill set, as I just mentioned earlier in the webinar, and you need to learn something new as you previously done in Microsoft Excel. So might be many of the users will be might be creating a column charts, line charts, or the pie charts in Microsoft Excel now, but you need to move yourself one step ahead in order to apply the data storytelling visualizations. Okay, so the first thing, what was the old way of data exploration? So previously, you have some numbers, you put that numbers into the dashboards, right? You need a lot of hours to spend to get your answers from that insights. You were creating a generating report to send to everyone or to your management, and you were not able to understand it very fast. So now with the power of data storytelling, you can communicate like a human, not like a machine. You can explain the reasons instantly, and you can personalize your needs in that dashboard as well. And we know that the concept of personalization is everywhere. When you open a Facebook application, you see the ads regarding your personalization choices. When you open a YouTube, you see the ads according to your personalization. Similarly, in the business manner, when you get the data, you have to make the personalization business processes according to that particular situation. And last but not the least, you need to understand the most important things, that what is the current actual business problem and the solution could be addressed by the data storytelling. So this is the diagram which you need to understand uh, in detail, that it's a combination of multiple things. At one point, you have the data, right? Then you have the visuals, something like you create normal charts, but at this important stage, we have the narratives. And to show the narrative into the visualization is like an art. So when these three things merge together, we engage, we explain, and we enlighten the data, and then the change comes in. Now, as I mentioned that this is a new skill set, and throughout my this webinar, I will be telling you that what are those techniques or tools from which we can learn the data storytelling, right? So as you know, we have a brain, and it's divided into three kind of memories: iconic memory, short-term memory, and the long-term memory. And if I ask you first, instead of explaining from my side, which kind of incidents in your memory has a long-term consistency? I mean, which kind of incidents are still present in your memory as a long term? So can you give me a feedback in the chat window? Which kind of incidents still you have remembered throughout your lifetime? In our brain, we have a three kind of memories: iconic memories, short-term memories, and the long-term memories. And as you can see that in our iconic memories, we have the patrons, we have familiarity, right? So the example, so the best fit example could be that we have the utilize the charts in this kind of a situation. In the short term memory, we have a context stored, and that contains to a kind of a short story which we hear from our teachers. And in the long term memory, the incidents which teach us some lessons, the incidents which teach us some fears and benefits for the long term, or you can say emotions, as the actionable insights. So now those actionable insights become a part of our long term memory. So similarly, what the data story is telling is all about is that it focuses on the longer side of a brain, on long term memory, so that your dashboard should tell you the crux of the business processes which is going on and how you take the decisions in the longer run. Okay. Now, the first thing is the visual is that our visual brains are attracted by the differences. Now, you can see in the picture, you might be see a bear, but there are three different kind of pictures, and your eyes and brain are acting according to that picture. Your focus is different according to that picture, right? So I hope you got the point that our visual brains are attracted by the differences. When we see difference, we first go to that point. So differences attract the visual brains. Okay. The next thing is that our brains are designed to identify the patterns. For example, now you can see that there are multiple blocks, but one of the block is in large in size. So this is said that our brains are designed to identify the pattern because we see a different kind of a pattern, we recognize that very easily. Next is our brains are designed to identify patterns by the orientation. So as you can see, a lot of boxes right here, but one box is a different and we can focus first at this point. Next, there is a there is also a difference created by the colors as well. When we create some charts and we do some coloring in it, so our brains also focus in that, and our eyes and brains start calculating those objects which are different. So the color is one of the very important aspect when we create dashboards either in Microsoft Excel or in any of the business intelligence application. So data storytelling tips for visual brains. Now here I will tell you some of the tips that in this example, we have a line chart, but the point is that we don't just have a line chart. We have the legend as well. We have the title as well. Okay. But the point is that our eyes don't always follow a specific order. So might be some of you can see these lines first, or might be some of you can see this legend first. So there is no some specific pattern defined, and our eyes can go in any direction or in any specific order because it's not following something, a rule of the visualization, right? So this is one of the flow. The next is in this kind of a chart where we can see that US incarnation rate from 1925 to 2008. So we can see the volume, the large volume first, right? So our eyes first focuses on what stands out. So something which is stands out, we focus on that particular object first. Okay. So next is our eyes can handle a few things at once. As you can see, there is a chart, uh, a multiple chart in which we have a line and area, and it's related to the customer service calls versus performance. So now there are a lot of things in this particular chart, but our eyes can handle a few things at once. Might be first we will see the trend which is going on every day or per week, or we might be interested in the average, right? Or might be we are interested in number of customer service calls increasing or decreasing. So in one chart we have a lot of things, but we analyze the data few things at once and then we come to the next. So this is the pattern which we follow generally when we see the visualization objects. The next part, we always try to find meaning in the data, and that's very important. Now you can see there is a scatter chart which states the top performance, and there are two variables, rating and volume, and we have two teams, team A and B. So we are trying to find meaning in the data when we see the very complex kind of a visualizations, and we do some analysis out of that, that what kind of an visualization is trying to tell us. So that's very important. So some of the examples which I took from a book, and this book is available to purchase, and I will tell you that how you can purchase this. But I found some of the very good examples on how we can improve the data storytelling, and that's very important you to learn in this webinar. And I will try my best to explain this. So the first example is you have a column chart, and as you can see and you can observe that there are two things depicted in this column chart. The first one is ticket volume received and the ticket volume processed. So there's a trend, you can say, or a comparison between these two month wise on a different volumes. So the this bar chart display the number of tickets received and processed in a year. So the one bar blue bars are showing you the ticket volume received from the visitors or the customers, and the second one is from the pink ticket volume processes. And sometimes definitely the ticket volume received will be higher as compared to ticket volume process will be the lower side, right? It should not be a max side, or it might be equal. So I need to shift to this traditional kind of a data from a data storytelling concept. So I will move towards a next kind of a chart, which is called a line chart. Now, this will be the most appropriate because it gives you a reason as well. And if your purpose is to convey a message and move someone to a specific action, and this tells you that in the initial months from Jan till May, the ticket process, right, the tickets requested in the process were equivalent. But as soon as the June and July we proceed to the next month after the July, we see a gap. And because of that, what was the gap? Because two employees were quit in the month of May. And because of that reason, the business definitely were not able to catch up the tickets received and the process volume together. So this is how this kind of a chart tells you a data story and to depict the correct visualization in order to do some decision makings. So previously there was a column chart, right, which was not depicting the detailed storytelling, whereas the line chart with some kind of additions tells you the reasoning as well. So remember that in the data storytelling, you must come up with a reason as well. That visualization should show you the reason. Okay. Next, before this is another example of data displayed without a narrative or clear message, because there is no narrative, there is no a reason, right? Or there is no clear message. Now we have two pie charts, and the question which was asked from the participants was that how do you feel about doing science? So participants have the different opinions. Some of that mark on the board. Some said the course is okay. Some of the participants said that they were excited. And after the training, this again the results were produced, and the post results has a different kind of an opinion as the pre. But still, this kind of a chart is without the narrative, and narrative is very important. So we substitute this chart and we created a new chart which shows a data storytelling as well. So we come up with a column chart and we put on x-axis all the Likert scale parameters like bored, not get, okay, kind of interest, excited, all the variables on the horizontal axis, and we compared it before the program and after the program, and we quickly identified that the interest which was not shown by before the program was definitely converted into an excited as compared to after the program. As you can see, the percentages has been increased from 19 to 38. So similarly, we have a narration in this kind of a charts, and this is very simple and clear, which tells you a data story. The third example is, it's another example of an ineffective chart. Again, this is not an effective chart. We have multiple products, product A, B, C, D, and E, and we have the average retail product price per year. So this is a simple column chart, you can say, but it does not depict any kind of a communication or a narrative. And instead of this kind of a column chart, we created a line chart again. And in this line chart, we come up with a narration. So to be competitive, we recommended introducing a new product below average $2 to $3 average price point in the 150 to $200 ranges. So we have again 5 products in this line chart. X horizontal axis depict the time period, and we have come up with a recommended range that we need to uh, set an average price in order to make sure that our average is being a constant, right? So in before that, there is no data story. There we were unable to do some kind of a decision making. But as soon as we change the chart, we come up with a reasoning, we come up with a narrative. Okay. Next. Now this is another kind of a pie chart which tells you that how much a person is interested to buy a product. So at first glance, this pie chart seems clear enough, but upon deeper analysis, you will find that it does not abide by several conventions that allow viewers to quickly grasp the information. And it gives you a kind of a confusion. So instead of creating a pie chart, we converted it into a simple bar chart where we have splitted one bar into 4 different attributes or the variables we have that a person is either interested in that buying that product or not. So this kind of a charts, instead of this pie chart, we have created a kind of a bar chart and we split it into multiple pieces so that we can know that uh, if the product has created interest to so that the people quickly buy this product or not. So, and we can see that the 44% is saying that not at all, right? So we have some story driven dashboard examples available, and I have posted a link on this slide. And after the webinar, I will share this whole presentation with you via email and some of our social media groups as well. So there's a website called bibrains.com/examples, and where you can find those dashboards who tells you the data story. It's not initially most of the users, as I have observed in the industry, what they do, they have the data and they just created simple kind of a charts where there is no data storytelling. I mean, you should identify the business problem first and then come up with a solution with a proper BI tool. As you can see in this 3 different kinds of story driven dashboard examples, you will find the first dashboard which is related to oil and gas dashboard, which is created on Power BI, which tells you about some of the important KPIs of the business as well. The second dashboard is related to executive sales dashboard, which is again created on BI. The third dashboard is related to cost center dashboard, and this is created on Excel. So it's not necessary that data storytelling always works on Power BI or Excel. It can be any application. But there are some rules of story driven dashboards, and we need to understand them. Again, we have a different kind of dashboards here. So one of the dashboard which is created again on Tableau. This is the Executive 360 view dashboard, and I know might be some of you are very interested to explore these kind of a dashboard in real time. Definitely, you can go to the website and explore them. And these dashboards have been created on different kind of applications. Similarly, there is another dashboard which is related to the HR 360 view dashboard or energy cost calculator. Now these are created on the SAP. So every BI tool or the MS Excel application has the capability to create the dashboards, but it's on the user that how he has learned the data storytelling techniques in order to make sure that the dashboard should present a story rather than just a kind of a basic charts. Recently, I also got some of the dashboard designs from the Power BI website, where, and as we know that we are going through this unprecedented times, and this is very hard time, and we are going through the COVID-19 issue. So the Power BI experts has contributed some of the very good dashboards, which are again related to the dashboard story-driven dashboard techniques, and we got some kind of analysis into that which country has the most effectees, death rate, or cumulative percentages of the patients growing with the period of time. So these kind of a dashboards are showing you the story driven, okay, not just a basic kind of a dashboards. Again, we have more examples on the story driven dashboard, and these are again not just showing the visuals, but as well as the message, the narrative as well. So it is said that 65% of the population are visual learners, and this is very right. I think more than 65% of the population are visual learners, because we can observe that uh, we generally learn through images. We can't quickly learn from text every time. Okay, we learn through the images, we learn through the stories, right? And if I can give you one of the example, that in our religion, Islam, we have a holy book, that is Holy Quran. So in Holy Quran, we have the stories which comes in our mind. So there is no just a text, there is storytelling telling techniques everywhere. uh, I also remember that when I was in the primary, when I went to the school, teachers used to tell us stories in order to communicate effectively and efficiently. So stories are everywhere. In every book, the writer used to persuade the reader mind in terms of visual learning rather than the textual. Okay, so that's very important. That's why I share one of the religious and one of the normal school example with you, that we 65 more than 65% of the population are visual learners, and without visuals, without black and white data, we can't do any kind of decision making. There is one more link, bibrains.com. Again, you can go to this website, you can download this analytics design guide template, which is available free of cost. That's a good news. So some of you who want to save the money, they can go to this website, and they can download analytics dictionary, which will help you to grow in order to make more effective and efficient dashboards. And again, if you scroll down to this website, you can download the conference presentations as well, and there are some free more courses coming up in next few months, and you will be have the access on this particular website as well. So after this webinar, my recommendation will to you is that do visit these websites in order to learn new kind of a skill set regarding the dashboards. Some of the books or the influencers you can find on Twitter or LinkedIn, you can search by these keywords, and I have written down the name of every writer or the influencer here, and these are the pathways you need to follow them in order to learn this data storytelling techniques. There's a website called wisme.co/presentation design. When you go to this website, you can download a free a visual guide to creating presentations, because I know that might be some of you also work on Microsoft PowerPoint, and also on Microsoft PowerPoint there is a concept of data storytelling. So either you are using PowerPoint, Excel dashboards, Power BI, Tableau, ClickView, any kind of BI tool. It's now very important a user to learn the visual presentations, how to create innovative presentations, which store long term in your brains. Okay, which could be a part of your long term memory. So another website which is called Storytelling with Data. Now this is a website where you can find a lot of stuff about storytelling with data, and there are two books which you can buy from Amazon, and these two books are amazing. Any one of you who want to get into the detailed data storytelling techniques should have these two books compulsory, and you can buy these books from the amazon.com. And one more thing that I'm also seeing, especially in Karachi, Pakistan, even the Pakistan context, I am seeing that every department now has the analytics people or the professionals hiring up, and we can easily see that when we go for the analytics, we go for BI tools, and there we need a chief data storytellers. So now there is a new kind of a designation and the department comes in, because all organizations now have the BI tools, and all those BI tools need a good visualizations. So the data storytellers and the chief data storytellers will take the position in near future in Pakistan. But as a global context, these fields are emerging. So if you want to know more about what the chief data storyteller role will be in your organization, so you can go to this website, register for the webinar, and attend this webinar. You will be guided with a free design analytics book, and you can uh, go through the whole process that how the chief data storyteller will be in your organization in the coming years. So recently, there was a data storytelling virtual summit because, as we know, that we are now in the COVID-19 situation, so all the conferences are now virtual, and that's a kind of a benefit because we previously we need a ticket and a visa to go to that country, but now the world is becoming more digitalized. So this data storytelling virtual summit happened in April 28 and 29, and the best part is that you can still watch the recordings. So my recommendation will to you that if you are interested to learn, go and watch the recordings of all the virtual submit different topics. Now let's come to the certification part. If you want to do any kind of a certification in this, you are free to go to Coursera website, type storytelling, and you will be lined up with a different kind of courses. Some of them are free, some of them are paid because of certification, but doesn't matter. You can go for the free certifications from the Coursera. Next, we have also a different kind of courses which are coming in, that is design thinking for innovation as well. So this is a new kind of course which will be aligned with the dashboard designing concepts. Then we have the edX website, and the edX website is again about, you can go to this website edX.org, and there is a course which is called storytelling in the workplace. You can enroll in this course, that is again free, but if you want certificate, that will be a paid one.